And welcome into another episode of the WestsLife podcast. I'm your host, Josh Barnett. We are brought to you by Holman Barnes Group, which includes West Ashfield Leagues, the best place to watch a game live and loud on Saturday evening, unless you're at Leichhardt Oval itself, of course. So if you don't want to head over to Leichhardt, you want to beat the crowds, head over to West Ashfield for the game and give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter at WestsLife Pod. Check out the profile. There's a link tree in there. As we said on Monday night, no OnlyFans yet. We're working on that. But it is a link to our Patreon, patreon.com/WestsLife. And if our Patreon members are listening, you've got a probably half hour to get your questions in if you would like to answer them later in the show. And if you're on YouTube, shouts to the dozens of you watching us on YouTube right now. Please give us a like, subscribe, share it, send it off, tell your friends, and help us with the algorithm with comments, likes, and all those sorts of things. Funny enough, talking off air, speaking of the algorithm or our YouTube, our guest tonight was just came along and found us last year and is a regular watcher of the show. We'll get to Sam in just a minute. Let's go to Az. How are you, Az, on this Wednesday evening ahead of, not to sound biased, but I always feel that little bit more excitement heading into Leichhardt Oval games?
Yeah, g'day Josh, g'day Rob, g'day Sam. Yeah, I absolutely love Leichhardt. It's my favourite place to go watch the team play. They always, well, most of the time they perform well, and it's just a beautiful place, like beautiful atmosphere. You've got the field. It's right. The team look like they're kind of at eye level when you're sitting in the lower levels of the grandstand. There, it's just an amazing atmosphere. Lovely when the hill's packed out. It's not a super late game as well, so hopefully we can get a nice big crowd. But yeah, I'm having a good night. I'm just ready for some footy on Saturday. Bring it on.
And a man who's definitely been to Leichhardt Oval literally hundreds of times, Mr. Bashara, coming in from the Red Room. How are you on this Wednesday?
Yeah, g'day fellas, g'day listeners. I'm great, mate. I'm having a good day. Looking forward to the weekend. It's probably our grand final again. Like we're hanging on by the skin of our teeth, sort of mathematically. But look, I'm just hoping we can get a win in Sydney. We've had a couple of wins this year, but they haven't been in Sydney. So let's hope the Tigers can do it for us this week.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. Well, the last time we witnessed a win, I'm trying to think.
Canterbury at Leichhardt.
Canterbury Leichhardt last year.
Round 11 last year, so it's been over a year.
Yeah. So, as we welcome in our opponent or fan of the opponent this weekend, and thank you so much for coming on, Sam, aka Wobblin' Jaw. How are you on this Wednesday evening? You got your Cowboys stuff all ready to go heading into this weekend?
100%.
How are you going?
Yeah, I'm doing so well. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It is a privilege to be here. I've been a subscriber to you guys for well over a year now, and I think you guys are fantastic. So it's so exciting to meet you guys all, and thank you very much for the opportunity. Can't wait to rip in.
Yeah, I'm always surprised when because we're obviously so biased towards our own team and passionate towards our team and our team only. So yeah, we're extra appreciative to. I have heard of the Eels fans and fans of other people on Twitter tell us that they do enjoy our show. So that's extra humbling. So yeah, that our fans call this therapy, West Tigers therapy. So but we're glad that we entertain those who don't need the therapy quite as much. You guys are doing a fair bit better than we have the last couple of years, but and definitely you tuned in to our Robbed episode, one of our I think it was our most watched live episode. We literally went live last year as your Cowboys absolutely robbed literally robbed our West Tigers of a victory, a rare victory. You tuned into that episode that night, Sam?
I didn't hear about that. I thought it was just a clean win for the Cowboys that night, boys. I definitely did. I saw you guys before. You guys went live for that Robbed episode, and Yeah, the Cowboys were enemy number one, which is very different for us.
I believe
enemy number one for a week or two, man.
I would say the
Only one
referee.
Cowboy was enemy number one.
I think
one
the
Cowboy.
referee is enemy number one. You can't fault a team for trying to beat us, but you can fault a referee for an absolutely and then Graham Annesley the next day trying to backpedal it. But yeah, it was the officiating. We like a fair contest, and that means we don't win fair enough. But when you lose to literally the first, we seem to find ways as West Tigers to lose in the most unique ways. Like we can name so many, but that one might take the cake. But shouts out to, so like I said at the start of the show, if you're not heading to Leichhardt Oval on the Saturday, head over to West Ashfield. They obviously have the huge big screen there, and nice live and loud, and nice pizzas at the Garden Restaurant and Sports Bar and Lounge. Home of the West Tigers is West Ashfield. Show your support. Major sponsors of the West Tigers, Holman Barnes Group. For more information, holmanbarnesgroup.com.au. Holman Barnes Group, bringing people together. And shouts to the boys, Tommy, Alex, and Noffa sharing a beer there. I wonder if they were allowed to have a beer over the bye weekend. Right, onto a bit of news. Not really news, but this weekend is Brooksy's 200th game. So I thought we'd start with a bit of Brooksy love. He doesn't get much love from the West Tigers fan base recently. I was mayor and founder of Luke Brooks Island, and we kind of were starting to shut that down. It was, basically no man's land, a ghost town. But I don't know, the last few weeks, there's a little flickering of Brooksy coming through. And there have been, despite the piss taking, there have been some pretty good memories with Brooksy. I thought we'd go around and share a couple. What have you got? What's some Brooksy memories for you? Let us know in the comments too.
So I'm actually going to go back to Leichhardt Oval. It was Indigenous round 2018. I'm pretty sure that would have been Jonathan Thurston's last game at Leichhardt Oval that year. So, and we got the win there. Brooksy had an outstanding game. Mahe Fanua was man of the match, if I recall. But Brooksy, we scored the first try of the game via a Brooksy. I think it was like an 85-meter run. That just set up the game. The Cowboys kind of got it close towards the end, but we ended up scoring a late try or two to run away with it a little bit. It was a really good night at Leichhardt Oval and really fun game to be at.
Mr. Bashara, what's any fond Brooksy memories?
Look, probably the most recent one that I can think of is the field goal that he kicked against South, and the way the boys rallied around him. Obviously, he copped a lot of flack, and for him to be the hero that night was really good. But to be fair, guys, I really don't have too many great memories. I remember his first game and thinking,
I was at that too.
At the time, he played so well. I still think it's the best game he's ever played for the club. But at the time, as happy as I was for Brooksy, I was just so upset that Benji was leaving, because I kept thinking to myself, imagine Brooks and Tedesco and Marshall and Farah, having that spine for the next 7 or 8 years. And I was actually really upset in his debut, thinking that Benji Marshall was leaving at the time. So, but look, not too many that come to mind, which is probably unfair to Brooksy, to be honest. But yeah, all I could think of was the South field goal last year.
You mentioned field goals there, so I was looking up stats before. I've got them in front of me now. So, how many? What would be your guess as how many tries do you reckon Brooksy has scored? You probably know. You're the numbers man. You might know this number.
I don't know. I'd be having a wild stab. I'd say maybe about 35. No,
not a bad guess. 43.
35.
Really?
Rob, how many? 43. Yeah.
Okay.
How many field goals do you reckon Brooksy has kicked in 200 games, Rob?
I watched a recent game. Well, not recent game, like on Foxtel. They had a game where he missed a field goal from 9 meters out right in front. I kid you not. I'm going to say...
They against the Bulldogs?
I'm trying to think of who it was. We actually played pretty well. We had Teddy. I think it was the Jason Taylor coach team. It was on Foxtel about 3 weeks ago.
Might-
Anyway,
yeah.
I digress. I'm going to have a guess and say 1.
One field goal,
I'd say 7.
close as 6. He got the game winner against South last year. Had the game winner against the Dogs the year before.
I don't even remember. I do not.
And I remember another one. I think he got the one where we beat the Rabbits by 5 points. I'm pretty sure he got a field goal in that one too.
So I'll go through him quickly. So 2014, so his first full season, he got one at Easter when we beat. He also had, I believe, the runaway intercept try that day.
Yeah.
He had one against the Knights. We won 33-12, so that's probably not really that memory. One that might bring up a few scars as well is he actually kicked a field goal the night that we were rigged by the Broncos at Campbelltown. It was 7-all.
the gold point. Yeah.
That was he kicked a
I
field
remember
goal.
that one too. Yeah.
He kicked a field goal that night as well. We won 25-16 in 2018 against the Knights. I mean, they were only really memorable, I guess, when you win by 1. The Dogs in 2020 at Combank. I was at that one. I don't know if you boys were. I definitely
I think
was.
I was too. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, South last year. So he can sort them. So
he's actually scored a lot of runaway tries. Like out of those 43, I can remember at least 6 or 7 that he would have either taken an intercept or, knocked the ball down with his foot or something like that. And then he seems to scoot. Infamously, I think the most famous try, well, it's not really a try. His no try against South a couple of years ago, that probably sticks out the most. Like that was just the most Brooksy thing ever. You know what I mean? The potential to be the next Joey Johns, and it didn't quite happen. It was a bit like that try that night to win the game against South.
My most memorable try might be against the Melbourne Storm. I'm trying to find it. I believe 2016. Yeah, we won. So we won by a field goal in that one too, I think. So he scored a try that night. I'm just looking up who kicked the field goal that night. That was a loss. No, I'm trying to find where it was. But do you guys remember? It was the Ivan Cleary era. He scored a try on the Storm, wearing the white, the Tiger face jerseys.
If I'm not mistaken, it took about 3 minutes or 4 minutes for the video ref to actually confirm it was a try. Because I videoed my family going absolutely delirious, just kind of laughing at the time at my son Brendan running up and down and then waiting for the video decision, and my wife screaming and him screaming, and I was just sitting there. That was sort of when Robbie had been exited. Robbie Farah had been exited from the club, and I kind of had the shits with the club. I really didn't care that much at the time. So
yeah, right.
I'll show you a video one day.
Sam, any Luke Brooks memories from the outside looking in?
I reckon that 2018 Leichhardt Oval game, I think he ran down Michael Morgan that night. He had he did have a strong game that night, and unfortunately I was at that friggin' game too. But no, unfortunately not, man. I will remember. I remember him mainly for his runaway tries. And his speed. His speed is so good. He's got to be up there like top 5 for the speediest halfbacks, or at least at one stage he was anyway. So over his 200 game career, I definitely would say that his most memorable things have been his runaway tries for sure, or try-saving tackles as well.
So you're talking about we won 20-12, round 10 at 2018. Tries. He had a try in that one, as did Malachi Watene-Zelezniak, Esan Masters, and David Nofaluma. Corey Thompson playing fullback that night. There you go. Right, on to we're talking about a celebration. On to this only just popped up. I was just having a look for West Tigers stuff and realised today that it came out that Joe Ofahengaue might be given to Parramatta effective immediately. This kind of shocked me a bit. It's not like Joe is playing second grade every week, and he's getting decent minutes. I think he's been really good. Rob, I'll go to you first. This one shocked me. I don't know why we do this.
Yeah, it's pretty baffling. I did catch part of NRL 360 tonight, and they claim that he's currently on 450,000 for this year, and next year he'd be on 600. So it could have something to do with money. On the surface, like if there's no swap involved or there's no potential plans for other players coming, I think it's a really poor decision. This guy's bled for the club. We all remember, Aaron's mentioned it quite a few times, he's ran after our round 5 loss against Cronulla last year, where he called out everyone, the players, the coaches, the management. We've all got to be better. And it just seems that all the pro Madge guys are left and leaving. And when you think about Jackson Hastings leaving, Ken Mamalo leaving, and now Player of the Year of 2022 leaving, our 3 best players from last year are gone. So if this happens, look, if he does go, he's going to thrive, because if he goes to Parramatta, Brad Arthur gets the best out of his forwards. He'll have a license to offload there. We can see he gets his arm free every week. I hope he does stay. I hope, Benji releases the shackles a bit with our forwards and just lets us play some second phase this week, because we've got to do something different. We just can't be scoring 0 points. I don't care who we're playing. We've got a good enough team to be scoring points against any team. So look, on the surface, I'm disappointed with it. But if there's a plan that we don't know about, we've just got to trust whatever, Benji, Scott Fulton, whoever's making these decisions happen.
Is there someone, a swap, like Rob said, I wouldn't do it without a swap either. I would want something in return. They're obviously not going to give up a superstar, but yeah, an absolute shock of a decision if they just let him walk to Parramatta.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure who we'd be targeting. If there was a swap involved, I don't know if they'd target another forward or a second rower, or if they'd try to find someone in the backs. But there's a few players in Parramatta who might plug a couple of holes. But yeah, other than that, I think it's an absolutely stupid decision, because wasn't he only just re-signed late last year? And I think it was late last year, and he's on contract until 2025 now. So yeah, it seems like a bit of a strange decision. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're thinking. But like Rob said, we've just got to trust the process. If they get rid of him, then hopefully they get someone in return, whether that be the other player who was linked to us from Manly earlier in the week, or if they get a player from Para. Yeah, who knows?
Trust the process. Shouts to Joel Embiid, who's playing Cancun at the moment. Sam, you're a Queenslander. How do you rate Joffa?
Well, there's another piece to this story, and Rob can probably attest to it as well, that North Queensland were looking at pinching Joe Ofahengaue.
I should have mentioned that,
they pinched Sam McIntyre, who is a former Tiger from the Gold Coast. And I like Sam McIntyre, would have preferred Ofahengaue. But as far as a trade goes, I mean, we didn't trade anyone to get Sam McIntyre. But for Parramatta, I'm not too sure who they could trade him for, like a Makahisi Makatoa, potentially. I mean, would you guys be happy with a Makatoa?
Yeah, I think our strength is our forwards at the moment, and this actually,
we need backs.
This will weaken our forward pack. Like, unless if it's a swap deal, like maybe we can get Peter Sterling back and play halfback for us or something. But I just think it's a crazy move. I get why North Queensland are looking for forwards, because you've got no Taumalolo at the moment. Nanai's out, so you're lacking a little bit there. Although your replacements are doing quite well. Look, it's a strange one for me, but as I said, there's obviously a plan. I don't think you let a player as passionate as Joffa go. If we released him a month ago or so, I might have thought, okay, he hasn't really been playing like he did last year, but I think he's really added some punch when he comes on the field. So I'd be really disappointed to lose him. And I just hate seeing guys being asked to leave the club when I know they love the club and they're passionate about the jersey and they want to play. And Joe Ofahengaue is one of those players. So we'll just see what comes of it. I hope it just all, goes to shit and he stays, to be fair. So.
DD Lods on YouTube. Sorry, Jazz.
Sorry. Yeah. I was just going to add the last ex-Tiger the Cowboys stole hasn't turned out to be all that crash hot for them, considering he's suspended, for lack of a better word. He stood down,
the update on the most recent update I can give is that Luciano Leilua actually will have his court hearing tomorrow. And
Probably end up
he is
playing against
innocent,
us on Saturday.
if he is innocent, the Cowboys are going to ask, because he hasn't been named on the team list, which we'll get to in a moment. But
Yeah.
if he is proven to be innocent, the Cowboys are going to ask the NRL for a special omission and have him potentially jump on this weekend. So
That'd be very West
that's the most
Tigers.
recent.
That would be incredibly West Tigers.
Very.
TD Lods on YouTube comments. He said, "Would you keep Joe if it meant we lost Justin Matamua? He might be on the out, especially if he stocks up not much minutes." Look, it's a good point. If it means we have got some young guys coming through, Sean Bloor as well has only got 1 year left on his contract. Yeah, maybe if it look without seeing the books and the salaries and that sort of thing. Yeah, he's hoping there is method.
We're $1 million under the cap. There's no reason to lose anyone.
Yeah,
it'd be pretty harsh, to say what. Well, it is harsh about what I'm about to say about Matamua, but he's only had a handful of first grade games, and even from what I've seen this year, I mean, he hasn't been playing great. He's not the so-called ball player that everyone's promising that he's going to be. And to be fair to Matamua too, I don't think he's been managed well. There was a 3-week period where he never got a game in any grade because he was 18th man. So, if we lost Matamua, I wouldn't really be too disappointed. If we lost Sean Bloor, I'd be devo, because I don't think our club realises how good Sean Bloor is and how good he can be. So, I'd be pissed off if we lost Bloor. But at what I've seen of Matamua at the moment, it'd be no big loss.
Yeah, I don't know what I'd do if we lost Sean Bloor. But on to the West Tigers team list. It's exactly the same 17 as last week that played against the Bunnies. Dream Buller at fullback, David Ofaluma, Junior Tupper in the wing, Stafford Toa and Tommy Talau in the centres, Brandon Wake and Luke Brooks in the halves, Stefano Uchoi Kamanu and David Clemmer in front row with Api Coruscant hooker, Isaiah Papali'i and John Bateman back row, Vanilla Pole still at lock, Jakey Simkin, Joe Ofahengaue, Alex Twal and Asu Kepa Owa on the bench with Seyfarth, Bloor, Matamua, Laurie, and Azatazi James on the extended reserves there. Sam, what are your thoughts on young Dream Buller coming through? We haven't had much to cheer about West Tigers fans, but this kid, man, within a few games, we're starting to feel like we've got finally got our replacement for Tedesco.
Yeah, he's been a bit of a good luck charm for you guys, hasn't he? I'd like to see him break the line and have himself a 60-meter run so I can see what sort of speed he's got in his back pocket. But very, very safe under the high ball so far. He did have that error in the final couple of minutes of that game, but the game was gone by that point against South Sydney this past weekend. But very impressive young man. I don't know if I could say that he's in calculations for Rookie of the Year, but if he just keeps building and building, he'll get there. So Dream Ball has been very fun to watch, and I'm very happy that you guys have got a solid fullback that's been junior produced and is doing the goods for you so far.
Rob, were you expecting any changes from Sheensy/Benji this week?
I wasn't expecting major changes. I thought perhaps we might have got a change at left centre with Kapoa in place of Tommy Talau. Sorry, but yeah, it's kind of whoever you put there, I wouldn't really be confident either way. I just hope we see a change in style. I just hope the pennies drop that we just can't play this simple, wholehearted, full of effort. I get all that. That's fine. But when another team matches that effort and they throw more at you, they're going to win. And, we really should be heavy favourites to beat the Cowboys under normal circumstances. They're missing their back three or back row, I should say, from the semi-finals last year. You just mentioned Leilua, Taumalolo, Nanai. If we were missing, our 2 second rowers on lock, we'd be saying, wow, we're under strength. These guys are still thriving. They've got firing the last couple of weeks, the Cowboys. So I just hope Leichhardt can bring something out. But we haven't scored many points there, even in the first 2 games this year against the Gold Coast, against Newcastle, and Newcastle were missing a player for 25 minutes of the game. So the attack just has to spark, and that's Absolutely. The only thing I'm not looking forward about the weekend. I really want to go to the game and I'm excited, but I'm thinking, man, I want to see some points. I want to see. We talk about, we got Benji back, we got Robbie back, we got Sheen's back. West Tigers DNA. I'm not seeing any of that DNA in attack. I'm seeing absolute boring shit. Okay, and I want to see West Tigers flamboyance again. It doesn't mean we have to be Harlem Globetrotters, but man, score some tries. You don't have to. You only have to do it twice in each half. 24 points will do, and that probably wins you a game. So, look, I think the Cowboys are going to be favourites now, but under normal circumstances, this should be a 2-point lockup for us.
And you're expecting Sheensy, I mean, he hasn't really done any shifty Sheens late changes with his team this year, but is there anything, do you think Sheensy might shake up at all?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to shake too much up. Like Rob said, I just hope we see a little bit more of a. We need to see kind of an amalgamation of the free-flowing style we attempted to play in the early rounds with the safety we tried to play last round, because there's a mix in there that would work for the team, allowing them to offload the ball, allowing them to play something they think is on. I think the whole Sheensy premise in the preseason was if you've practiced in the off season, go for it in the game and stuff like that. I just think there needs to be some sort of mixture of what's going there. But I will say, I think the Cowboys aren't as good of a defensive outfit as the Rabbits were, and they were able to shut down a lot of our attempts to break up through the middle. I think maybe where we might be able to get the Cowboys is on the edge. I think Taumalolo, if he does come back, is the difficult one, but that's kind of a wait and see sort of thing, I think.
Shout out to our sponsor, Mobile Corp. So Mobile Corp, formerly known as MLC Phones, who was sponsor of the Tigers in the mid-90s. If you're a local business owner looking for a partner who would like to take away the hassle of dealing with IT issues, make sure you have cybersecurity in place, handle all your mobile device needs, then Mobile Corp can help. Mobile Corp is a family-run business and long-time supporter of the West Tigers. Reach out to friend of the show, Stephen, and the team at Mobile Corp. Check out mobilecorp.com.au. That's mobilecorp.com.au. Shouts to our mate, Shane Walker. Onto the Cowboys team list. Sam, let's change it up a bit. Sam, do you want to run us through? I'm not sure how big your screen is there, but do you want to run us through?
Yeah, sure, man.
Cowboys team, let's go for it.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Drinkwater is at the back. Felt and Taulagi are the wingers. Holmes and Hiku are the centers. Dearden and Townsend, the halves combination. McLean, Hess and Robson in the front row. Back row, Lukey, Gajewski, Cotter, back row. And then the interchange is Granville, Dunn, Price, and Kulikefu, Fenefuiaki. And I'm buggered if I could read that reserve list, mate. I don't have your glasses on.
No, that's okay. That's all right. Sam McIntyre's in there. I know that. Rob, is there any matchups from the Cowboys that are making you a bit antsy for this week?
There's definitely a few players there that make you nervous. I think in terms of their creativity, Scott Drinkwater, like he can go short with the pass, he can go long, he can run, he can put a little kick through. So Drinkwater's kind of one guy that takes the eye. I'm kind of glad Valentine Holmes is on the left center position and not the right center position, because our left edge absolutely sucks. So yeah, definitely. Hopefully Toa can do a job on Holmes, but obviously Valentine Holmes is dangerous. Look, even some of their older guys like Jay Granville coming off the bench, who would have thought he'd be playing the way he does? Like, you think he's got one more year left and he's going to lose his pace, and he comes on, he provides a spark, he provides the energy, and look, they're just playing really, really well. As I said, to be missing all those forwards that they're missing, I know their back line is back intact now, but to be missing all those forwards they're missing and really having some outstanding wins, especially the one in Magic Round a couple of weeks ago. Look, they've had a taste of finals. They were struggling a month or so ago, and now that they're winning again, they want to keep winning. So it's going to be a really tough matchup, guys.
Az, what about for you?
Yeah, I'm looking a little bit more at the forward pack. Cohen Hess, he's always been a bit of a danger player when it comes to playing against us, and Helam Lukey and Jack Gajewski is a pretty potent duo in the second row there. I tell you what, though, Sam, you had a mighty good pronunciation of that last that jersey number 17. Is he on debut?
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't have to do that.
No, he made his debut on Magic Round, mate.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
can you
Sam,
tell
I
us
don't think
about him?
Josh wasn't being polite when he threw that over to you. He saw a couple of
It was a,
he saw your 70 and he saw that number 17. He said, I ain't going there.
it was a
I've
fancy
done that a
Marshall
couple of
flick
times
pass.
myself.
Yeah, the Benji flick.
What can you tell us about KF at number 17?
Oh, so he only came into Queensland Cup status last season, maybe a little bit in 2021, but he's really fresh, man. So I'm really not too familiar with his style of play, to be honest with you, boys, because he is so new. But from what I've seen so far, he does not put his foot anywhere near the brake. He just keeps it on that accelerator, boys. So he put a massive hit on James Tedesco, of all people, on Magic Round as well, which would have given him the world of confidence. And while he didn't do anything spotlighty against the Dragons this past weekend, he was good. If you don't mind, boys, I want to back the truck up and just give you a bit of a spiel because I know we all know what happened last season. The Cowboys, quote unquote, robbed the West Tigers. And I've circled this match even before the draw was released last November. And I'm petrified that this is going to be an ambush from you Tigers. I hope the Tigers play fucking angry this weekend. Yet play with more attack. Absolutely. And I don't, on my side of the fence, I don't give a fuck if the Cowboys win 5 points to 2. I don't care, man. I want to see that 2022 defense come back to the foray and keep the West Tigers pinned inside their own territory this weekend, because leaking 22 points against the St. George Illawarra Dragons last weekend, I don't think that was good enough. The Dragons have been tough to put away at stages throughout this season. They did score 26 against Easts on Anzac Day, but to leak 22 in the way that they did, where they really could have put 50 on the Dragons at one point, was eyebrow raising for sure. I look at the team list from last year as well when you guys travelled up to Townsville, and the reason why you guys got that close to beating us that day was because of two players in particularly, was Jackson Hastings and Dane Laurie. And that gives me more confidence that we can go down to Leichhardt and beat you guys. And we only did go down to Leichhardt Oval. I mean, you guys talk about your stream being one of the best ever when the Cowboys robbed you guys. Your stream about when Tigers hosted Cowboys at Leichhardt Oval on that Sunday afternoon when unfortunately Tommy Radonicus passed away in the week leading up to be honest, and I'll boast here for a moment, I was at that game as well, man. Unbelievable day. What an extraordinary day, weird day, but super disappointing. They deserved to be booed at halftime. The West Tigers did. I'd do the same to the Cowboys if the roles had been reversed. So that does give me confidence that we did break that hoodoo, that curse since the year 2000, to beat Wests at Leichhardt in 2001. And to know that Dane Laurie and Jackson Hastings aren't playing in this game does give me a bit more confidence as well. A stat that does give you guys hope as well, in my opinion. The Cowboys are the worst team in the NRL at the moment for missed tackles, with over 400 missed tackles. The West Tigers are the third best. They are the third best. So I don't know what their number is, but they're not missing tackles. They're not Penrith levels, obviously, with all respect, but they're not missing tackles. Maybe they're ineffective in the tackling department. They have obviously licked their points. But that is a stat that does go in the way of the West Tigers. But I mean, Luke Brooks's 200th, and Rob, I'd love to ask you as well, because I was talking to Azza and Josh before we went on air, and I was under the cloud, Rob, that this was going to be the last game at Leichhardt for the foreseeable future because nothing had been renewed. I mean, that was months ago, like 3 or 4 months ago since I last heard that news. But let alone that, another thing too, this is the last Leichhardt Oval game for 2023 because mainly due to the FIFA Women's World Cup coming in July. So this is going to be a huge crowd on Saturday twilight. But am I right in saying that was something that was in the air about Leichhardt Oval potentially not being used or potentially still may not be used for the foreseeable future?
They mentioned that last year that there's a chance if we didn't get the government funding and the upgraded work that we needed, that Leichhardt wouldn't be considered a safe enough venue to have games there in the future. So that is a possibility. But, I mean, there hasn't been much doom and gloom spoken about that lately. I just want to say one thing about being robbed last year. You guys didn't rob us. It was the refs.
True,
okay,
true.
the Cowboys did everything they could to win the game. But the way we got robbed, like, for a start, when we scored that try, the game should have been over if the amount of allotted time for the conversion was allowed to take place. We wouldn't have even had a kickoff. Then whoever took your kickoff stood on our side of halfway. Then obviously, I'm pretty sure Kyle felt he's going to get a lot of this week. He will absolutely cop it from the Leichhardt crowd this week. I mean,
Yes,
that whole scenario, I mean, look, it actually changed the game. Like, I don't know if you notice now, when the refs call full time now, they do that absolute bullshit soft whistle, then the hard whistle. And that's all come about because of that bullshit excuse that they made up saying, oh, no, we hadn't had the hard whistle yet. That was only the soft whistle or the first whistle. So, I think I know some people would be gutted over that game last year, but I can speak for myself. I've got a soft spot for the Cowboys. I love Todd Payton. They're a good story because they aren't a team full of superstars. We laughed at you guys signing your halfback on 800,000 a year, thinking, what a joke. What's Todd Payton doing? And, you guys were in the thick of it last year. So I actually like watching you guys do well. I want to see you do well. I just don't want you guys to do well this week. And I just hope the NRL can just repay us the favour and just rip you guys off this week and let us have a win.
Okay.
I mean, they got 3 things wrong last year in the last minute and a half of play. Like, please, give us a chance. But look, we need to fire up at Leichhardt. I mean, our Sydney fans need something. So, and if we lose this week, then every other week just absolutely means nothing. I don't care what we do the rest of the year because the year's over.
Absolutely. It's got the last several, or pretty much all, since 2009, our matchups with the Cowboys. I just realized then, pre-COVID, you guys did struggle at Leichhardt, didn't you? So we beat you there in 2019, 2018, 2016. 2016, was that the one in the rain?
No, that was the one where Tedesco beat everyone for a try from the left.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 13. He broke 13 tackles on the way to scoring a try that won us the game.
Sorry, 2013. That was the one in the rain, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the one after we lost 7 in a row. Yeah. I happened to be there that night with my son. That was one of the best nights.
I was there too, on the hill, dancing, jumping up and down like a madman. And 2010 and 2009 one there as well. So it's only really, since COVID and, literally that one game that we bottled in 2021 for Tommy's tribute. So who knows? And as someone brought up before, Jonathan Thurston never won in Sydney against the Tigers. So it's a shame he's not playing as well. Lower grades. So we're playing the Panthers in lower grades, I guess, because obviously the Cowboys are obviously not part of the New South Wales Cup. So New South Wales Cup is 12:40 p.m. So they're doing Cup, then Fleg, then first grade this week. Why? I don't know, but that's the way it goes. Dane Laurie at fullback. Who else we got? Pello and Smith have both been named in the halves again. Hopefully they'll play a bit better than they did in the second half last week. Rules at hooker. I think he hasn't been playing the last couple of weeks, has he?
No, he played last week.
Did he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the same team that was named last week.
Okay. Matamura at lock. No Blore, funny enough. No Blore on the team. But
was he jersey number 18 for us?
Yeah, he's 18th man for us, Josh.
Okay. Well, he was 18th man last week too. I thought, yeah, they might let him play in both. But our old friend Luke Garner, he's in second grade, so yeah, not
Bit of a
not
fall
making
from
first
grace
grade.
there.
Yeah.
We'll take him at the end of this week if Penrith don't want him.
Can I ask a question about Rua
Sure.
Natakora? Do you guys think he's still a bit too young to be playing consistent first grade? Obviously, probably, but
Yeah.
I like the look of him, and
Yeah,
I was wondering what you
so do we.
guys think of him.
The injury set him back a year, I guess, but and he's got Appy Coruscant and Jake Simkin. Yeah, has played well enough to not. I guess they gave him first crack at it, and he's probably not playing bad enough to warrant giving Rua a go. Yeah, he'll get his time. I literally spent time with him on a tour of the facilities on the 10-year members night. Yeah, great guy. And I told him like he'll be next for his debutant game.
Then
It ended
Buller
up being
got named.
Yeah, Buller got named, so maybe he's next. But I hope so. It looks exciting. He's still very raw. Like you watch him in New South Wales Cup, he's still pretty raw. But well, yeah, I can't wait to watch him playing first grade. But what about you guys?
Yeah, I think he's way too raw. I watched him play World Cup, at the end of last year for Cook Islands or whichever country it was, and he did score a try, but his passing was pretty poor from dummy half. He good runner with the ball, no doubt, but he's still got a long way to go, guys. I think he's 2 or 3 years away.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. At least on the bright side, he's got Robbie Farah, who's probably the best hooker we've had at our club and one of the best hookers in the game in recent years, as a bit of a mentor for him. But I can only think back to the 2021, I think it was, trial against Manly at Leichhardt. He went for a scoot from dummy half and it didn't work. So we tried again like 2 plays later, and he tried it again 2 plays later. And he seemed to be a little bit too, I guess, reliant on his dummy half dives over the line, and he didn't score any points off them. So yeah, he's definitely still a little bit too green, too raw in my eyes as well. I think in 2 to 3 years time, maybe by the time Appy departs the club, or if Appy departs the club after 2 or 3 years, then he'd probably be stepping up then. But yeah, he's got plenty of time to hone his craft.
He played really well in a trial against, who was it, at Gosford? Was it Manly?
Roosters, maybe?
Was it Roosters?
Yeah.
He played really well in the second half in that game, then did the ACL not long after that. So yeah, his time will come. He's still really young. Jersey Flegg, 3 p.m. So yeah, 3 p.m. Before the main game. So keep an eye out for young Josh Fellerty. He's been turning some heads apparently. So yeah, keep an eye out. Talon Da Silva is the other one. So yeah, keep an eye out for our young guns. That's probably a good thing. Our young guys getting hopefully in front of a well-packed, by the time it's second half, a well-packed Leichhardt Oval crowd. So yeah, not such a bad thing, I guess. Righto, Rob Sadamas, are you a betting man, Sam, at all?
Yeah, I do me weekly tips on my YouTube channel. Yeah, mate. Yes.
Beautiful. We've got a segment, as you know, Rob Stradamus didn't get up last week, I don't believe, but what have you got for us this week?
Look, I'm actually going to file a complaint, Josh. It's very hard giving the listeners a really, really good tip on when the team lists are named at 4:00 on a Tuesday and having to get it to you early enough to put out. But I'm actually pretty confident, even though there's some tough games, I'm actually pretty confident with my 8 tips this week. But I just figured these 3 games that I've got there, I can't even see my own writing. I think it's Penrith, Roosters, and I can't see the third one there. Storm. I just think all those games are going to be tight. I don't think they're going to be blowouts. So if those teams that I've tipped do get up, they're going to be 1 to 12 margins. So if you roll those into each other, you're probably getting about 10 to 1.
10 to 1. My favorite Midnight Oil album. Right on to our tips. So feel free to go.
Go, Rob. Go, Rob. Yes.
There we go, Rob. He's 12.
Hey, I
Yeah.
hope I'm wrong, Sam. I hope I get 7 out of 8. Trust me.
Yeah. Reverse psychology tactic.
I don't think Rob's tipped the West Tigers this year once,
No,
have you?
I did first game.
First game. He's been scarred from the first game.
Scarred from the first
game. But if you look at the scores, I've tipped us this week, and I'm doing pretty well this year. So,
who's coming off a perfect round though, Josh? Not you this time.
Well, you've tipped us as well, so you're in hot form as well. So, first game, we've all tipped the Penny Panthers. Anyone? Who are they playing against?
Brisbane
Broncos.
Well, not as straightforward as it seems, really, that one. But as you said, Rob, it's meant to be pretty tight.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty tight. We've got our former Tiger, Jock Madden, playing halfback in place of Adam Reynolds. So I think Adam Reynolds
$3 for the Broncos. Wow.
But I hope Madden has a great game. I think he's someone we probably should have kept, given we let go of Hastings as well, and we're really struggling for halves. So, I'll be cheering the Broncos, but I think Penrith will get up.
On to Roosters Dragons. So the Dragons are actually playing less than the Broncos. There you go. But we've all gone chooks. Are Dragons any hope in this one?
No, I think they're hope. I mean, normally when a coach gets sacked, the team fires up the following game. The Roosters also have got new halves again. They've got Drew Hutchison in at halfback this week, and Kiri goes out to 5'8". But I just still think the Roosters, they have to click eventually. Like, they're out of form. Saints will probably be freewheeling this week, so I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think it'll be quite close, but I can't tip St George.
And the Roosters were diabolical last week as well, which makes it even harder to tip that game in general.
Yeah, it's a hard game.
Yeah, you just think they're a much better team than the Dragons, but you never know. The assistant coach taking over might fire him up. But on to Rabbitohs Eels. We've all gone the Bunnies. 310 for the Parramatta to beat South. I mean, yeah, we obviously saw how good they were last week. It'd be hard to beat. I don't think I'd tip anyone over the Bunnies at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they get Moses back this week, but I mean, it'll be a tough game. It's not going to be a pushover, but I think in the end, South will have too much, and Latrell normally fires up in Indigenous. I can't even say it. Indigenous round, and Cody Walker. So they should get South going.
Sharkies over the Knights again. The Dragons, of all these games, the Tigers are actually, I know, I'm going to say the shortest priced underdog, but it's actually second. The Bulldogs are against the Titans, but Sharkies at home against the Knights. Pretty.
Can I say, man, I think the Knights are a genuine hope. I am tipping Cronulla, but you've got the Newcastle Knights are $3.45 on Neds, but they're huge
not on
numbers on Newcastle, man. No, sports better about what is
325,
yeah, 325, man. But still, I reckon that's huge on Newcastle, bro. And while I'm still tipping Cronulla, I reckon, and this game is happening in Coffs Harbour as well. So
I didn't realize.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so I'm tipping Cronulla, but gee whiz, I'll tip in Newcastle at $3.25 or $3.40. There's a bit of value in that, man.
The line would be a decent one for them then.
Before we get to the Cowboys game, Sam, have you gone the same choices as us in the prior games?
Panthers, yes. Roosters,
they're all heavy favourites.
Yes, so. And I am tipping Cronulla. Yep, exactly the same.
I think that if the weather's dry, I think that Cronulla Newcastle game will be a really high scoring game. It'll be good to watch.
The only game we've disagreed on, the three of us, is our own game. So Az and I tipping the Tigers. Rob, you're not confident we can get an upset win?
It's not confident at all. I'm not saying I'm not confident. I just want Benji to release the shackles. I know if our team just performs to 7 out of 10 in attack, we'll win. But I just want to see that 7 out of 10. I want to I feel like, you look at our previous losses, like to Melbourne and to teams of the like, we've got to get down by 12 points before we start throwing the ball around. I want to see us take the game by the scruff of the neck from the first set, just like when we played Penrith in those rubbish, rainy conditions where Brooks kicked a 40-20 on the first set. Like, we played like we just have to win. And I want to see that desperation in attack. You can't destabilize the defense if you're just doing 3 hit-ups with your props in the red zone or 4 hit-ups in a set of 6. You've got to throw the ball around. You've got to have some second phase. You've got to disorganize their defense so they're not standing next to the same man in every tackle. We've just got to throw some freaking footy at them. And I'm hoping I get to see that this week. And I just know if I tip the Tigers, we're no chance. So the only hope we've got is for me to tip the Cowboys. It's just superstitious and it's stupid, but that's all I've got, guys. We don't have a good team. I've got to work on something else.
I'll tell you, can I just jump in again, man, on 2 different things? Thank you, man. I agree with Rob with what he said before, that $2.35 on Sportsbet about the Tigers, man. I'm surprised that's not a little bit more in, to be honest. I reckon that they should have been about $2.10 to the Cowboys, $1.80 sort of thing. But it's a little bit bigger than that. So I agree with Rob on that point. But John Bateman, I'm so glad he's on the other side of the paddock, bro, because our right edge defensively that features Felt, Hiku, Townsend, and it was Nanai, but now it's Hylam Lukey, which is better so far. I'm glad John Bateman isn't taken on Nanai, for example, that it's not Bateman versus Nanai, because Bateman just would have been way too clever, would have been way too tricky, and it would have put all sorts of pressure on Townsend and Hiku. Like, if it was Tigers Cowboys a month ago and Bateman was selected to play on the Cowboys right edge defensively, oh, bro, I'd be super scared about taking on John Bateman, man.
Yeah, I honestly think the betting prices just reflect our inability to score points, Sam. I like, if we'd have lost to South 30-12 or something like that, I reckon we'd be favourites this week. The fact that we literally can't score a point and that we scored 4 points in 55 minutes against, St. George the week before at the back end of the game, like, we just don't seem to be able to cross that bloody try line. And that's the only thing holding us back from being a really good team, because everything else the West Tigers are doing is really good, but the attack is absolute Z grade, and it's just got to improve. And I think, you just can't keep trying the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. You got to try and promote some footy. Like Aaron and I discussed on Monday night, we're even saying, like, let's throw Bateman in at lock. Let's have him ball playing a little bit like Isaiah Yeo. Let's bring Sean Bloor up who can offload. Let's just change something up a little bit, because are we really going to be playing for respectable losses? Is that what we're going to hear from Tim Sheens every week? Oh, we only lost 12 points to 6. The boys defended well and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, we won the second half.
Like this, we had 3 wins under Madge this time last year. We've got 2 wins under these blokes this year, and with a much better squad, with the exception of Jackson Hastings. And we're still making excuses for it. There are signs of improvement, but it's still not acceptable. And we shouldn't be experimenting. And this is what happens when you have inexperienced coaches there. You guys are going to outcoach us. Not just, it's not just about not being able to score points. If you remember that Tommy Radonica's tribute, Sam, we kicked off the ball and you spread it 3 or 4 passes left and caught us by surprise from the kickoff, and you got 3 tries in about 5 or 6 minutes, and we'd had our pants pulled down not long earlier against the Gold Coast doing that same move. And I just think we've just got to try our hand a little bit more. And if we go down by trying something different, at least you've tried. But if we're literally going to do 3 or 4 hit-ups in the red zone and expect things are going to change, hoping that the other team don't play well, that doesn't work. We've got to take the game. We've got to attack. We've got to be West Tigers, not, fucking West Pussycats, because that's what we are in attack. We're just not throwing, and opposition teams would be loving what we're doing in the red zone. They're like, we're not even kicking the ball sometimes. It's just really frustrating to watch, because you see us doing so well in every other aspect of the game, tackling well, getting out from our own end, like the yardage sets are really good. But once we get to that red zone, we absolutely shit ourselves. And It's just not good enough. I can't believe Benji, Tim Sheens, Robbie, they can't coach some blokes to straighten up an attack and promote some second phase and get something happening.
Junior Tupou is a man that I do worry about. He's going to be lining up on Kyle Felt, so I don't think Felt is going to be jumping over the top of him. Maybe there could be a kick in behind Tupou if Tupou's defending way too in, but I do think Junior Tupou is a great young prospect. And the other battle that I'm looking forward to as well this weekend, the forward pack is pretty good in general, but Papali'i versus, if I'm correct, that he's lining up on him, Hylam Lukey. Papali'i versus Hylam Lukey is going to be an awesome battle to see this weekend.
Moving on, we'll breeze through the last game. Storm against the Dolphins up your way. Sam, Storm, you think we'll get it done? The Dolphins kind of...
Dolphins, what the hell do you expect from them, man? They're just so, off the cuff. And I give them a chance, but I'm tipping Melbourne Storm in that one.
Josh, that's like South and Roosters this game this week. Like Bellamy versus Bennett, all the drama that went down with Cameron Munster. They've got half the Storm pack in the Bromwich brothers and Kafusi. This will be a mad game.
It's gonna be a hell of a game. Yeah,
it'll be a hell of a game. It's not going to be a walkover. No way.
The closest in the betting game this week, Dogs Titans. We've all gone Titans, but Titans, you never know with them either. The Doggies, they're at home, might pull out a win on a Sunday afternoon. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Anyone got anything? No one? No?
Yeah, I just think the Titans have got a few more points in them than Canterbury. They got this crazy stat. Apparently, they've scored 26 points 5 times this year. So whether they win or
in a row as well, 5 in a row.
Was it 5 in a row? Was it?
It's literally 5 in a row.
Yeah, so see if they can make it 6 in a row. But look, Canterbury are playing okay considering who they've got out, but they're just lacking some points. Although Addo Carr's back this week, that'll give them some spark. Avrilo's playing well, but the Titans are just a bit hit and miss, aren't they? Like they blew a massive lead against the Dolphins a few weeks ago, and they put on some points against Newcastle, fell apart last week. You just don't know what's going to happen with the Titans, but they're good to watch.
And then last game, Canberra in Canberra. We've all tipped over Manly.
Go the Raiders.
Yeah, Dower game, but I think the Raiders too.
Just check the Discord. The guys haven't left any questions for us. They're a bit lazy this week, the old Patreon members, but the Discord, been fun in the Discord with the NBA chat as I heart attack my way through the Western Conference Finals that started today. But patreon.com/WestsLife if you want to support and take part in the show. And join our Discord and welcome to our new member. Let me look up, who was it? My fingers aren't fast enough. Pete, you can never do it quick when you want to. It was William. Shouts to William, who joined us this week and joined the Discord as well. And Shane, didn't get a read from Shane, but I'm sure he'll give us a good one on Monday. Shouts, we love you all. Our next show, obviously 8:30 Monday night, we'll review this Cowboys game. No offense, Sam. We're hoping, we really, really would like a win.
That's all right.
Our ratings are always much better when we win as well, but just emotionally, we need it. We don't get many. We're hungry for our 3rd win of the season. So thank you so much for coming on tonight, man. Really appreciate it. Absolutely smashed it. And good luck, but not too much luck to your boys. Not to the point that you get referee decisions on Saturday.
Let go of it. You've already got the 2005 grand final on us. So just let go of it. No, seriously, it's been an absolute pleasure and a privilege. I've been a subscriber to you guys for a year, and you guys continue to get better.
Appreciate it.
I wish you guys all the best in the future. And if you do win, awesome, because it would mean a lot to you guys. The last game at Leichhardt for the year and Brooksy's 200th. It's it's going to be an ambush on the Cowboys this weekend. So I just really hope that the Cowboys do bring that 2022 defense with them this weekend, man.
Absolutely. Any
I
parting
hope
words?
Yes.
Any parting? Any final words before we say goodnight to Big Dog, fellas?
I know. Look, just thanks again to Sam for coming on, and he's been a really good sport. And good luck with the Cowboys for the rest of the year, except for Saturday. And look, I just hope we see the boys unleash. It's when it clicks, it's gonna rain, it's gonna pour attack. I just want that attack to click, and when it clicks, God help the rest of the comp, we can get some wins and be a real thorn to the rest of this comp. But we've just got to get some attack going, guys.
And the three of us will be at Leichhardt on Saturday evening. So say good day if you do see us or hear us swearing and carrying on in the Latcham Robinson stand. But yeah, if you see us getting around, come say good day. We're always happy for a chat and love it when you guys, tell us that you enjoy the show and that sort of thing. So there was a lot of that last Leichhardt game, and we haven't been to a game. I feel like ages since seen the West
Round
Tigers
two.
live.
Rounds 1 and 2, that was it.
Well, I went to Brisbane, but yeah, so keen to get out to the Eighth Wonder, and anything as before we go?
No, that's pretty much covered it. Once again, thanks, Sam, for coming on. You've been absolutely fantastic. And yeah, good luck for Saturday, but not as much luck as you had last time around.
All right, boys. As always, go the Tigers.
Go the
Go the
Tigers.
Tigers.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the WestsLife podcast. Please follow us at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter, and facebook.com/WestsLifePod. You can also support and take part in the show at patreon.com/WestsLife, and give us a subscribe on YouTube and turn notifications on. We'll see you again next time on another episode of the WestsLife podcast.